everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Mike Tyson's famous line has been quoted over and over and over and over and over. And depending on which version of it you catch, is punched in the face or punched in the mouth. So not really sure which one it is. I did look, I did search, but I've seen it said both ways. But it's been quoted so many times by entrepreneurs, business leaders, journalists, politicians, but for good reason, because it really is something you just don't know. And until it happens, you just don't know. I'm not talking about literally getting punched in the mouth, guys. I'm talking about you don't know what it's like until you just get the wind knocked out of you sometimes. I know what it feels like to have a plan that doesn't work. I mean, trust me, I'm good at that one. I know what it's like to have a plan that goes totally FUBAR, which our military crowd can appreciate. I'm not going to iterate that loudly on YouTube and my platforms because not everybody would appreciate the language, but you can guess the rest is up beyond all recognition. You can fill in the F on your own. But I know exactly what that situation looks like. And it can be tough, guys, especially when we put a lot of effort, some time, even our heart and soul into a project. But the truth is, we all experience setbacks and failures from time to time. It's unavoidable. It's part of the process of life. The good news is there are ways to overcome them and come out even stronger. In this show, I'm going to share with you 5 tips for what to do when your plan fails, because I got a lot of practice at this one. I've done it a lot. This is not new ground for me. So I want to share with you tonight so that when you do have plans that go sideways or fail, you can turn the situation around and make the most of it. So if you're ready to learn how to bounce back and achieve it, stick around for the show. I promise it's going to be worth your time. And we're going to hit it right into it with number 1, respect the morning. One of the most commonly missed things that have to do with setbacks, like major setbacks, guys. And we're not talking like I got up late this morning. I'm talking like big setbacks to major goals and plans. Okay. One of the most commonly missed things that sets people back is the mourning period. It's not something that most people expect. They don't even associate that with the process of serious, deep planning. But if you truly deeply invested in your plan, then there's an emotional and a mental investment that has to be processed. It's really important not to wallow and stay in your own pity party, because we've all probably played that card. I have, for sure. But if you've ever put your heart behind something, you know there are feels, right? So when we're talking about plans tonight, we're not talking about, oh, I was going to go out to dinner, but something came up. I'm talking about big plans, life-changing plans, life-impacting plans, right? About your future, your goals, your family. We have these setbacks. And when your heart's in it, there are feels behind it. So experience those feels, okay? It is actually a form of mourning when you have a dream come crashing down, or a huge goal, or, plan just come there's actually a form of mourning very similar to the loss of someone you care about. So experience those, acknowledge them, let them exist, because they're there. And then you got to sort them out and move forward. But you can't neglect the mourning period, because it will waylay you even worse if you just let it sit there and fester and don't allow it to process. Now, guys, I got actually 5 more tips on top of that one for you. So let's get into the night show. What's up, Fallible Nation? Welcome to Fallible Nation Live. We sort out real life issues here. That's what we do. We try to give you answers to help you as you make your journey through life. Practical, useful ideas, tips, insights to equip you for just living every day to its fullest as you work to become the best version of yourself. That's really what Fallible Nation Live is all about, guys, is we're just trying to give you tools for your toolbox to help you on your journey. Now, guys, if you're jumping in tonight, be sure jump in the comment. It's so much more fun when you guys jump into the chat. And you know what? If you're catching this on the live stream, you guys are on the live stream. If you're catching this on the replay, that's okay too. Jump in the comment section. I read all the comments. I reply to them. I'd love to get your input on this. Become part of the conversation. It makes the night more fun. Now, if you are live with us on whatever platform you're watching, we're on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube right now, guys. There's a link, and you can leave a question if you don't think you're going to be able to stay for the whole show. And that way I'll answer it during the Q&A portion at the end of the show. You can also request to come on air and ask that question live during the Q&A portion of the show. And if you're just, wanting to throw it out there, but don't necessarily want to jump in the limelight, that's fine. Put a QQ in front of it in the chat. And my lovely wife, Sarah, my partner, will make sure that I see that comment, and we'll make sure that it comes up so we get to address it tonight during the Q&A. Now, guys, we all make plans and set goals. It's part of life, right? We talk about a lot of goals here on this channel. We talk about SMART goals a lot, but some things sometimes some things work out. Like, listen to me tonight. I'm just babbling all over the place, right? Some things just don't go as we expect. Maybe we encounter unexpected changes. We hit some kind of setback we weren't expecting, or unforeseeable problems, because those exist. Or we realize that our plan was kind of flawed from the start. I really hate getting down the line on something. I've done it so many times, like way down the line on something. I'm like, ooh, I totally missed that part. Let me give you an example. Our first themes conference, we put this plan in motion, right? We got the date set. We got locked into it. We're moving along. I had no idea I had planned it for graduation weekend for our local community. It's a really bad idea to put on a live event on graduation weekend if you want people to come to it. Just doesn't work out well. But I was already committed to it. So I found out my plan was flawed from the beginning. So we had to move the dates for the second one. So it happens all the time, guys. Whatever the reason, it's important to know how to handle things as plans tank, because they do, and just keep moving forward, right? So we already talked about respecting the morning, because that is a really real issue. And a lot of people get waylaid by it because they get all these emotions that they didn't expect, and they don't actually take time to process them, or kind of mourn the idea. And that doesn't have to be a really long period. It's not like losing a loved one, but it is losing something you put your heart and soul into. So we talked about that already. Number 2 is to reframe your perspective. Instead of focusing on what went wrong, reframe your perspective and look for opportunities to learn and grow from the experience. Now, this image is actually one of my favorite images. And if you've been on the live stream before, you probably heard me reference this in the movie Big Hero 6, which is a comic book animated kids movie. But it's actually just a really great flick, guys. Hero, he's the guy hanging upside down, is this young genius, right? I mean, just mind-blowing genius. And at like 12 or 13 years old, he's looking at going to the highest college tech school. Like, they build robots and advanced AI and all kinds of crazy things that we can't even imagine yet, in a city where, they have flying things all over the place. And it's kind of nuts, right? And he just is banging his head against his wall. And he's like, I'm done. It's over. And his older brother's like, yep, guess you're all washed up at 12. Well, there's no, and Hero's like, come on, you're supposed to be helping me. And so he grabs him and flips him over his shoulders and hangs upside down and starts bouncing around the room. And he's like, what are you doing? He said, I'm changing your perspective. Use that big brain of yours and look at it from a different angle. This is honestly one of my favorite moments in a movie, because there is so much truth through it. So I love that I got to use that graphic. Perspective dictates so much of your life. It's incredible. Perspective is such a powerful and unappreciated, can I say that? Unappreciated thing sometimes. This is a really important step, because we turn the loss into a partial win. And that's the trick, guys. You have to change your perspective and look for the lessons and the opportunities and the growth, because you have to turn this into a partial win for us to process it in a healthy way and help us move forward, right? You have to take the good out of it and let the rest fall away. And we'll talk about that situation in a second, but if you can't spin your perspective on it, it's going to haunt you and it's going to beat you down, right? Edison has been misquoted so many times when he talks about the light bulb, right? And we've all heard it 1,000 different ways, which is funny because, right, the saying that we're all familiar with is, I didn't find a, you know, I didn't discover what is it? Now, see, this is what happens when I go off my notes. I didn't find it. I found 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb, right? He didn't fail 1,000 times. He said, as long as you, he said, I didn't fail 1,000 times. I simply learned 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb. Now, that quote's been hacked up, misquoted, and that's not exactly the quote, but that's probably what you're most familiar with, is something close to that. And that's the truth of it. You have to have that perspective that says, well, that was horrible and I'm unhappy that it didn't go well, but what can I take away from the experience for us to process it? Because if we can't spin it in a different direction in our heads, then it can actually become a problem and sit there and eat at us. Perspective is the secret key to rebounding from a failed plan. You have to learn to look at it from a different direction, just like Hero did in the movie. I don't advise hanging from your knees and bouncing up and down. It sounds really painful and uncomfortable to me. My back is already screaming just thinking about it. But hey, whatever it takes, man. Maybe you need to do like a headstand for a little while. Don't do that if you don't know how. That could be bad. Number 3, analyze the situation. Take some time to analyze what went wrong and why, right? This will help you identify areas of possible improvement. It will help you avoid making the same mistakes in the future. If you have developed SMART goals and a solid plan, then it shouldn't take you really long to reverse engineer the process and identify the points of failure and work from there. But only when you take the time to actually reverse engineer it and figure out where that failure point was, can you start to work backwards from that failure point, reverse engineer, how did this happen? What dropped? What didn't work? What did I miss? And that gives you the learning opportunity with reframing your perspective. Combine the two, make it really a powerful experience. Number 4, guys, is to stay flexible. Learn to pivot. Remember that plans can appear set in stone, but in reality, we're all working on best practices and guesses. Change is a constant in this life. I know so many things that when I started it, it was a good idea. It didn't stay a good idea for long, but when I started, it made sense. Right? Let me give you an example here. So Sarah and I were dreaming about a business opportunity many years ago now, and we knew it was a brilliant move. And so we were trying to figure out how to make it happen, right? We were very new at the concept of business, and about the time that we figured out a possible solution for the need of financing so we could actually launch this local business, someone beat us to it. Someone else started the exact same business, slightly different location than we had picked, but they had started the exact same business and with the same concepts behind it that we had been thinking about for a year at that point. It was a good idea to start with. And it was a good idea because that went on to be a very successful business. But right, we have to be flexible. We have to learn to pivot. It's like, okay, that was a good idea, but staying flexible and just learning to pivot on things, if being willing to adjust your approach if necessary. I learned something about myself in that experience, right? Because I went through these processes. I mourned. Sarah and I put, a year of just dreaming and like heartfelt dreams into how we would do this and how we would make this work. And we looked into businesses because we didn't know anything about it at the time. And when someone else beat me to it, like I mourned because I was really excited about it. I was like, yeah, we're going to start a business and work for ourselves and it's going to be great, right? What I learned during that time about myself is that I wanted to run my own business. Now, it stinks if someone beat me to it, but maybe in the long run, it's better that someone did because maybe I wouldn't be here today, right? But I had to look through that experience and I had to change my perspective, look for the win. I learned things about myself. I learned about secret thoughts I didn't realize I had, right? I didn't know I wanted to run my own business. I analyzed the situation and I realized it was a lack of understanding business and the way business works that I needed to brush up on. So maybe next time I wouldn't miss the opportunity. Take the knowledge, pivot. It's not a total loss if you can take the knowledge gained and move in a different direction that is still a positive direction, right? It may not work how you envisioned it, but something amazing can be born out of the ashes, much like a phoenix, right? We can really go from failed ideas. Ask Elon Musk, how many businesses the man started? A lot of them worked. A lot of them before that didn't work. It's funny because we know the names of the ones that work, but we have no idea how many he didn't succeed at before he launched that first one that really kind of gave him the groundwork, right? If you look back at a lot of entrepreneurs, you find the same thing. Well, your dreams are that way. Your goals are that way. Learn, take the knowledge, pivot, be flexible. Understand it's not necessarily going to work the way you plan it to be. The Fallible Man has been a wild ride because I promise you, this is not where I intended to be when I started this 2.5 years ago. But here Sarah and I are on this crazy adventure and we're loving it. But I promise you, it looks nothing like it was planned out as 2.5 years ago when we started. Number 5, lean on your tribe. Don't be afraid to reach out to others for support. Better yet, reach out to others for knowledge and insight, not for support. Whether it's friends, family members, or mentors, talking to someone can help you gain new insights and perspectives. Guys, you need to build your tribe with people that have positive impact on you. The conversation should float around possibilities, ideas, dreams, plans, concepts that move you forward in a positive direction. Fill your tribe with those people. Fill your tribe with people who care enough to help you brainstorm, to be honest with you, and avoid people who complain, focus on negativity, and gossip all the time. They're not a healthy group to be inside your tribe. One of the most powerful things I've done recently in my life as a business owner is I've become part of a mastermind with some other entrepreneurs. And it's a small group. There's like 12 of us, maybe. Everyone there understands the way I view life right now. Everybody there understands the desire to have successful businesses and to grow multiple businesses. Everybody understands what my daily life looks like as a small business owner or small business entrepreneur. We now have 2 or 3. So it's this group of people who are living in the same world I do, but there are hard truths spoken in that group, and it's done with great care and concern for the other members. It's always done constructively, and they're incredibly supportive. Everybody in that group wants you to succeed. And so we bounce ideas off each other and thoughts. People test run things. They A/B test stuff inside the group going, hey, what do you guys think about this? Like this. We have this constant chat going through WhatsApp, just constantly bouncing ideas off each other, getting ideas. Our newest logo, right? You guys saw the newer logo on the hat I'm wearing. I know I've got it backwards, right? But you guys have seen the new logo, hopefully on our post. I bounced that around with not only Sarah, but I bounced that around inside my mastermind group, trying to pin down best practices and stuff like that. So finding your tribe, finding a tribe of people who will encourage you, who will lift you up, who will walk with you and help you out is so, so massive, guys. It's so important. And it really will move that needle, especially when something tanks, when it all goes sideways. Having that tribe is critically important. Now, if you are looking for a tribe, then let me offer another option. Fallible Nation now has its own private community, guys. This is a community where I run both Fallible Nation and some of my business practices out of. Some of you may not know I'm an ASM certified trainer. I actually have another company doing personal training as well. And so we have this private community here, and most of it is open to everybody. There's 1 or 2 pieces that are privately for my training clients. But guys, this is a community where we have things like a weekly accountability group. weekly check-ins, live sessions, live training, special guests. This is an area for people, and I'm very selective. You can join the area, but I have a very tight rule about the way people interact inside this community. This is a place for people to come, connect, encourage each other, support each other. This is a place for imperfect people who want to grow to come together and support each other and form a community with other people who are also on that journey as well, guys. We're really proud of this. We'd love to see you on Fallible Nation. You can get there from the membership tab on my website, www.thefallibleman.com. And we would love to see you there. But this is what this community is about, is supporting people in their journeys with other people who are on a similar journey, guys. Number 6, set new goals. Okay. We've gone through the process, right? We've already analyzed through, and we had some morning time and processed those feels because we were really into this last thing, right? We reframed our perspective on it and looked at it from a slightly different angle so we could start to wrap our head that it wasn't a total loss. And we analyzed the situation and learned from it. We're learning to be flexible, which, trust me, I understand is very difficult, but we're learning to be flexible and how to pivot and take what we learned and take that in a possible new direction. You saw it going this way. That same thing, if you pivot just a little bit to the left, may actually work out in a way better way. And we leaned into our tribe and got strong, right? We connected with other people and were encouraged and supported and bounced ideas around about what to do. And now it's time to set new goals, guys. When we set new goals, we're moving forward, right? This is the final step because you can't stay and wallow. I said that right at the beginning. So set new goals that align with what you've learned from your failed plan, where you want to go from here, and use this opportunity to focus on what truly matters to you. Decide if anything is salvageable. Decide if it's better to go from zero. It might be better to start over entirely. But one of the, I don't know if I put a slide in for this, Sarah. One of the quotes I was looking for, I had up earlier. I don't know if I put it into the slide deck at all. Oh yeah, it is. It's back. Go back. Sorry. It was there. There's there. It's just hard to read. It says, don't be afraid to start over again. This time you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. Guys, that's the cool thing about failing. Okay. And I know that sounds really like weird to say, but that is the cool thing about failing is every time you start over, you're starting over from a place where you've experienced life. You've learned some things and you've gotten better. You're not starting from scratch. I recently had to diversify my business and basically split off my business into pieces. And trust me, going all through it again was much faster the second time. Now I'm just waiting on all the paperwork on the bureaucracy side of life to catch up. But it was so much faster to do it a second time or a third time. You're starting from a place of experience. So it's okay to start over. Feed on the failure. It either made you sharper or defeated you, but you get to decide that, right? That's why, I love what Rocky said. Life is not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you hit. You can get hit and keep moving, right? It's one of those great lines from a movie that just resonates because it's so true. You got hit. Your plans got foobar, but you can get back up. You absolutely can take it and turn it into a win by learning from what happened, processing, not making the next mistakes, pivoting and going in another direction that maybe right beside the last one, you just learn from what happened the first time, right? It's all about getting back up. Remember, guys, a failed plan is not the end of the world. In fact, it can be the beginning of a new, better journey. By reframing your perspective, analyzing the situation, staying flexible, leaning in on your tribe, and setting new goals, you can turn a setback into a comeback. Don't let your past failures define you, but let them inspire you to keep going, to keep growing, and to keep reaching for your dreams. You are capable, you are resilient, and you are worthy of success. Believe in yourself, trust in the process, and never give up on what truly matters to you. Guys, thanks for watching tonight. You are a great group, so I'm thinking a lot of you are going to catch this on the replay, but I appreciate you taking the time to be with us as always. Thanks for watching. I wish you all the very best on your journey, and remember, be better tomorrow because of what you do today, and we'll see you on the next one.